Valerie, into the water, ladies.
No, man. Let me take a look at that map right quick.
Why is everybody all obsessed with the map?
Because we're tired of being your trail donkeys, acting like you some one-man GPS. God damn it! We lost. We fucking super lost, man. Tell them, McCluskey. Tell them what time it is.
I don't believe you people.
Huh? What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
Huh?
Chill, all right? Just chill.
Now, let's go get those Viet Congs.
Viet Cong!
What?
It's Viet Cong. There's no S. It's already plural. You wouldn't say Chineses.
Ladies and gentlemen, the pleb is back. In this report, Mark Carney held a press conference today at a Hamilton steel plant and got himself absolutely roasted on X. Now, we have the video, we have the comments, and we have the memes. So you won't want to miss this report. Stick around. Before we start this report, I'm starting to post content regularly again, and many of you are still complaining that you've been unsubscribed from my channel. So please, all I'm asking, just double check if you're still subscribed, and if you're not, smash that subscribe button. Now let's get into the report. Well, folks, I don't think Mark Carney's press conference today went the way he thought it would, as he visited steelworkers today in Hamilton, Ontario. Now, the fun all started when I put out this post on X after I noticed at Mark Carney's press conference today the lack of steel workers behind him. There were no employees of this steel plant, only a bunch of Liberal MPs playing dress up once again. Now, the comments under this are absolutely hilarious, but before we get into the roasting in the comments, let's bring things over to Mark Carney's press conference. Just look at them in this shot here. They're all cosplaying as steelworkers instead of having actual steelworkers stand behind them, because we all know that blue-collar Canadians absolutely despise these woke liberals.
You know, today is a difficult day for Canada. It's a difficult day for the industry because of these unjustified tariffs that have been put on. We and my colleagues in the government want to make absolutely clear that we stand foursquare with you in this.
Guys, hang in there with me a little bit, okay? I know Mark Carney is super lame, low energy, boring to listen to. Let's just suffer through this together.
And we are doing several things. First, about the same time as we're having this conversation, the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Foreign Affairs are announcing that we will put in place reciprocal tariffs on U.S. steel, on U.S. aluminum, and on a series of other U.S. goods, so the total amount of our tariffs match the American tariffs. Now, we don't want to do this because we believe in open borders and free and fair trade, but we're doing this in response. The second thing is that we are going to make sure that all the proceeds from our tariffs go back to support workers in the affected industries. So in the steel industry, in the aluminum industry, and any other industry that the Americans may. In addition,
this man speaks with zero confidence, for the record.
We will double down on the partnerships that we have with the industry. As you know, a lot of the big investments here have been in partnership with the federal government, with the Ontario government, this so-called SIP fund as one example. We are proud of what you have accomplished. It's a remarkably competitive company. It's a world leader who's going to be here for another 30 years, another 30 years after that, another 30 years after that. And I know there's multi-generations of workers here. And your children and your children's children will have opportunities to work at.
How many times has he said during this? At least 20 times. He might be worse than Trudeau.
DeFasco and ArcelorMittal. Let me just say one other point. Make a couple other points with respect to the United States and the relationship there. We understand. I understand. I respect President Trump's concern for American workers and American families. We respect his concern about fentanyl. It's an issue for us here in Canada as well. And that's why the Canadian government moved very quickly with a comprehensive response that's had a huge, huge impact in terms of controlling that issue and getting on top of that issue much better.
This is so hard to listen to, chat. Don't worry. We only have 50 seconds left. We're gonna get.
We are ready to sit down.
And if anyone in the comments can actually get me a count on the or the or the ums, please, or maybe even splice that, because that would make a funny video.
With the Americans, with the U.S. government, I'm ready to sit down with President Trump at the appropriate time.
It's unbelievable.
Under a position where there's respect for Canadian sovereignty, and we're working for a common approach, a much more comprehensive approach for trade. We're all going to be better off. Workers here in Canada, which is our concern, workers in America, which is his concern, we are all going to be better off when the greatest economic...
Yeah. Look at this. Look at this, chat. Look, they found a steel worker walking right behind Mark Carney, but he didn't want to be at the press conference with them.
Be better off when the greatest economic and security partnership in the world is renewed, relaunched. That's possible. You have a new government, but the same commitment, and that commitment is built rock solid on the commitment you have all made here at DeFasco.
Wasn't this guy supposed to be smarter than Trudeau? So yes, folks, one of the most boring and uninteresting press conferences of all time, but what happens next on X is actually funny. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I see a bunch of liberals in orange jumpsuits, the only orange jumpsuits I want to see liberals wearing are those made for prison. But without further ado, let's get into the comments under this post. The people were having a good time, like Under Boob Jess here, who went with the caps lock, ha 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 ha, I just can't with these clowns. And I agree, that's why we're making a video about it. Brick Canuck had lots of laughing emojis. Bratney said, oh my god, ha ha ha, I'm dying. Salty Albertan said, laugh, 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 gay. Friend of the channel and fellow YouTuber Elevate Podcast had this to say, saying this is iconic. And the comments were quite brutal, like Wazy Canadian, who said, Karina face is golden. This is hilarious, says Ajin Young. Laugh emojis, laugh emojis. Aaron Wallace says, imagine being on that crew. Next comment, LMAO. Another man writes, DDZRR writes, this is comedy gold. This commenter, Emmanuel, writes, LOL. D writes, nice try, Carney. How do you do, fellow working class Canadians? That's the vibe, right? Next guy writes, LOL. Chromeo writes, I find tards. He tags him and writes, easy. Next person writes, that's effing hilarious. Anyways, these comments were quite brutal. Or how about this comment from TikToker Bradshaw, who wrote this under my post? I just finished watching his press conference, laugh emoji. Hilarious. No workers. Where are the workers? Corey Morgan writes, he looks so natural, just like one of the crew. Marty writes, he had to get his MPs to dress as workers because the actual workers want nothing to do with him. Rex Glazer writes, LOL, congrats to the dumb liberal advisor who thought this Comic-Con cosplay was a good idea. Ouch. Or this meme here from someone named Willow saying, Carney is the great Gazoo. I mean, they do look alike. Or how about this post from CBC Watcher who says, Carney, bringing back that old Gibo look. Now, I can't read all the comments because there's just thousands and thousands of them, but over on X today, Mark Carney got absolutely roasted for playing dress up. And the stark contrast between Pierre Poilievre visiting steelworkers and Mark Carney visiting his steel plant is literally night and day. Just look here, how the people look happy to be in a picture with Mr. Pierre Poilievre. And when Mark Carney visits, what are they doing? Are they hiding from him? I don't buy this Mark Carney hype whatsoever. It's just all a giant psyop. It's all a big fake illusion. I don't know about you guys. When I see pictures of Pierre Poilievre and the steelworkers versus Mark Carney with no steelworkers, I think I know who Canadians are going to vote for in the next election. And the pushback against Mark Carney has already begun, as this Canadian patriot was spotted in Abbotsford over an overpass with a giant F Mark Carney sign. I wonder how many people honk for that car. And whoever that man is, I would buy him a beer. And apparently this guy was out protesting yet again in Vancouver this time, with the exact same sign on the overpass. You absolutely love to see it. And the other day, you might have seen this post on X where I asked my followers, have they started selling the F Carney flags yet? And guess what? A user submitted this to me the day that Mark Carney became the Liberal leader. Apparently, they were already selling F Carney flags on Amazon. Don't you just love capitalism? And the day after Mark Carney won the Liberal leadership race, guess what we saw here at the Prime Minister's office? A dude with an F Carney flag giving the middle finger here to the PMO. Now let's move things back to Mark Carney's press conference today at the steel plant, because a massive bombshell has just come to us here at the desk. According to CHCH News today, Mark Carney took no questions from reporters. But this is where it actually gets crazy, as Mark Carney's team, his handlers, told the camera operator pooling the event to shut off sound when he was inside talking to workers. What? Mark Carney's team asked the camera people to shut off the microphones when he's talking to the Canadian people. Are the alarm bells not ringing here? Does this not sound like a dictatorship? That insane. Disgusting. No questions for reporters and no sound bits. But look how arrogant this man looks. Man. This dude is worse than Trudeau. And if you don't think he's worse than Trudeau, our friends over at the National Citizens Coalition sent me this video. They wanted our audience to see this, exposing who the real Mark Carney truly is. Watch this.
Mark Carney is playing us for fools. Just listen to him explain his hidden carbon tax.
What we're going to do is make sure not that the government pays, not that we as taxpayers pay, but the large polluters pay.
But does that not ultimately trickle down?
No, because what the big companies are producing, by and large, are not products that we are consuming. There's some element of that, but by and large, a steel company, how much steel are you using these days, Todd?
Canadians don't buy crude oil either, but when the price of oil goes up, it's not long before the price of gasoline rises too. Mark Carney's carbon tax will raise the price of steel, which will add to the costs of home construction, cars, dishwashers, cutlery, you name it. In the face of Trump's tariffs, what's Mark Carney's solution? Make it even harder for Canadian businesses and more expensive for everyday families. There are over 100,000 men and women that are employed by Canada's steel industry. Mark Carney doesn't care about their jobs. He'll keep moving jobs overseas, just like he moved Brookfield jobs to the United States. He doesn't care about you. He thinks he can play Canadians for fools. Maybe that's why he prefers to identify as European.
Speaking as a European,
Yes, folks, the climate lunatic who has not lived in Canada for over a decade, who moved his business to the United States, who holds 3 passports, who calls himself a European. This is who the left's Team Canada wants to lead our country. Are you kidding me? And to end off today's show, I do have an exciting tidbit for you. As House of Commons staffer is reporting that Trudeau is going to ask the Governor General to call an election on Sunday or Monday. This election in Canada is finally happening. All right, folks, that's it for today's report. But tell me in the comments down below, what did you guys think of Mark Carney's press conference? Did he look like a strong leader? Did he look like an actual steel worker? I want to hear what you thought about Mark Carney in the orange suit in the comments, and I will read all of them. If you guys want to support my channel, you already know how to do it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. My name is The Pleb. Election season is here, baby. Let's effing go. See you at the next one. Peace.